Hey everyone, I'm Jessie Monroe.
And I'm James Blackwood.
Welcome back to AIZN Breakdowns. Today we're doing another deep dive, getting right into some source material about the artist AIZN.
That's right. We've got these excerpts, and they're all focused on one specific track. It's called Your New Boyfriend Sucks.
Okay, wow. Just that title. It definitely sets a certain tone, doesn't it?
It really does. So what we have is like an intro to the song, some background on AIZN, and this playlist, AIZN Bangers.
Right, and there's also this pretty explicit warning about AIZN's general style in the source docs.
Yeah, and crucially, the full lyrics for Your New Boyfriend Sucks.
So our mission here, just to be clear for everyone listening, is to unpack this song using only what's in these texts. We want to understand the style, the themes, everything as it's presented here.
Exactly. And see how the song lines up with the descriptions we've been given of AIZN's whole approach, purely based on the source material.
Cool. So let's start with that context. The sources tell us this song, Your New Boyfriend Sucks, it features on AIZN's YouTube playlist. AIZN Bangers.
Yeah, AIZN Bangers. And the description we have for that playlist is pretty specific. It calls it a collection of AIZN's best EDM, pop, and party anthems.
Okay.
The focus, it says, is on high-energy beats and catchy melodies.
Okay.
Stuff for when you want to turn up the vibe.
Right. So we're thinking loud, energetic, probably something you can move to. Party music, basically.
That's the musical world it lives in, according to the source. But like you mentioned, there's also that warning about the lyrics.
Yeah, you can't really miss it in the source text. It says straight up that AIZN's lyrics can be edgy, absurd, and packed with profanity.
And it adds that, this style might not be for everyone. It basically says, if that's not your thing, maybe this isn't for you.
But it frames it like this is just how AIZN is, right? Like It's a known thing, part of the package.
Exactly. Not an apology, just a statement of fact about the artist's style based on our source.
Okay, so interesting mix then. High-energy party music, but with lyrics flagged as edgy, absurd, maybe even offensive because of the profanity.
Yeah. So now let's actually look at the lyrics for Your New Boyfriend Sucks. This is the core of what we have. How does the song itself deliver on these descriptions?
Okay, reading through them, the first thing that jumps out is how direct it is. It feels like someone, clearly an ex, is just talking straight at their former partner.
Totally. It's like a monologue or maybe like a really aggressive voicemail message. It's aimed right at the ex, specifically about her new guy.
Yeah, and it's basically just tearing him down. Like the whole song is a point-by-point attack on this new boyfriend.
The main technique here really is comparison, just relentless contrast. The speaker sets themselves up against the new guy at every turn.
Trying to show how much better they were or how much the partner has, quote, downgraded.
And the details in these comparisons, they're super specific. It's not just vague insults. They paint these really sharp, often kind of mean pictures.
Yeah, let's pull some specifics. Like right off the bat, appearance. The new guy wears pastels and he's got no ink.
Right. And in the context of this song, that's clearly not meant as a compliment.
Yeah.
It implies he's, bland, soft, definitely not edgy like the speaker presumably sees themselves.
Then there's the baby face comment and the thrift store tux. What's that about?
Again, it's dismissive. Baby face suggests he's immature, not masculine enough maybe. Thrift store tux, maybe trying too hard. It just looks cheap. It's all about painting him as inadequate. Subjective, of course, but that's the speaker's goal.
Definitely setting a tone. Then it moves to personality, lifestyle, and the contrasts get even more intense.
The new guy drinks oat milk lattes and he loves to think. He's described as all manners and yoga calm. Plays it safe.
Safe, kind. But then the speaker twists it, calls him weak like Diet Coke. Ouch.
Yeah, that Diet Coke line is cutting. It implies he's a lesser version, lacks punch, and then calls him a little prince, a Hallmark card.
Like he's predictable, maybe boring. Fake, even.
Exactly, or just saccharine. And then, maybe the harshest one, cute like a neutered pup.
Whoa! Okay. Yeah, that one lands hard. It's designed to just strip away any sense of threat or vitality.
Right. It takes things that could be positives, being thoughtful, calm, kind, and frames them as massive negatives, weaknesses, especially compared to how the speaker describes themselves.
And how do they describe themselves? It's the total opposite, isn't it? They brag about driving the partner insane, like that's a good thing.
Yeah. They say they're chaos, whiskey, and open palm, playing it loud. It's all about intensity, disruption.
They even call themselves a monster under your bed, a Molotov poet. It's like safe versus dangerous, predictable versus volatile.
Absolutely. And this whole conflict, this dichotomy, it doesn't stop at personality. It goes right into the bedroom.
Oh, yeah. And this is where that warning about edgy, absurd, and packed with profanity really kicks in based on these lyrics. The language gets really raw.
It does. So the lyrics say the new guy calls the partner queen. Sounds nice, right? But then it immediately follows with moans like a bitch.
Wow. Okay. Using a slur to imply weakness in bed. Got it.
Then it says he cries after sex, says sorry when he comes too fast. He probably asks before he goes down, gives a softer stroke.
So the speaker is framing all of this as negative, like being considerate or emotional is bad. Asking for consent is bad. It's presented as awkward, weak, lacking passion, maybe.
That seems to be the angle, yeah. He's painting the new guy as sexually inadequate, or at least undesirable to the speaker. The softer stroke is clearly meant to contrast with, well, with the speaker's approach.
Which they then describe in pretty graphic terms.
Oh, absolutely. The speaker claims they gave you pain. Again, framed weirdly like a positive, fuck you raw in the backseat, lit, made the partner scream, made them shake when I'm in the crowd.
It's incredibly aggressive language, intense, dominating.
And then that line, spit in your mouth and made you drown.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
that's got to be the absurd part, the warning mentioned, right? It's so over the top.
Yeah, it's definitely extreme, shocking, maybe deliberately so. And it ends with fuck like I give a damn. Just pure, raw assertion.
It totally embodies that edgy, profane, absurd description. The language is meant to hit hard, maybe even disturb you a little. It positions the speaker as this intense, maybe even dangerous force, contrasting sharply with the safe, soft, new guy.
So you've got this speaker bragging, tearing down the new guy, but there's also this thread of, like, insecurity maybe, this need to insist they still matter.
I think so, yeah. Because they claim the ex still texts them when he turns his back. That suggests secrecy, a lingering connection the speaker needs to believe in.
And then that line, I still own your mind and your dirty clothes, that's possessive.
Very. It's not just we still talk, it's I still own you. Mentally, even physically, through objects. It underlines the whole argument. You downgraded hard, you know he sucks, you still belong to me.
So if we step back and just look at the overall tone reading these lyrics, what's the main feeling?
It's just intensely confrontational, aggressive, boastful, definitely, and dripping with contempt for the new boyfriend.
Zero subtlety.
None. It's a full-on attack. And the profanity is constant, what the fuck, bitch, fuck your rebound, goddamn shame. It's all there. Just like the source warned, it's pure verbal assault.
And hammered home by that repeating line at the end, your new boyfriend sucks, your new boyfriend sucks, over and over.
Leaves absolutely no doubt about the message. Now, let's try and connect this back to that AIZN Bangers playlist description. Remember, high-energy beats, catchy melodies, turn up the vibe. How does this lyrical content fit with that? It doesn't sound like typical upbeat party lyrics.
No, it's not like put your hands in the air kind of stuff, but I can see how it could create energy. The sheer aggression, the rapid-fire insults, the kind of shocking language paired with a driving EDM beat, that could definitely feel intense, high energy.
Right, the energy comes from the confrontation itself. Like punk or some types of metal, the anger is the energy.
Yeah, and that directness, that fuck you attitude can absolutely amplify a beat. It turns up the vibe by being provocative, maybe even a bit dangerous sounding. It's raw.
And maybe that absurdity we talked about plays into it too. Some lines are so over the top they might make you react with kind of shocked laugh or just head-banging disbelief.
Yeah.
Grabs your attention, gets a reaction. That's a form of energy too.
So it fits the description, maybe just not in the way you'd first expect. It's energy through force, through bluntness, through sheer audacity.
Exactly. So thinking about everything in the source docs, the playlist, the warning, these lyrics, what themes does this song seem to be hitting on, based just on this text?
Well, obviously relationships,
Yeah,
past versus present, that whole dynamic.
definitely. And comparing partners, clearly.
Yeah.
There's a lot about perceived masculinity too, right? The safe guy versus the chaos guy.
Yeah, different approaches to being a man, or at least how the speaker sees it. Power dynamics are huge too. The speaker is constantly trying to assert dominance.
Over the ex,
Yeah.
over the new boyfriend. And that idea of lingering connection, like emotional or physical ties that don't just vanish after a breakup. The speaker insists they still have a hold.
It's a really raw take on those messy post-breakup feelings, ego, jealousy, possessiveness, delivered with that blunt, profane style the source warned us about.
It lines up perfectly, doesn't it? It's a clear snapshot based only on this source material of that edgy, profane, maybe absurd style, tackling intense relationship stuff head on.
Okay, that was a pretty thorough dive into just this song and its context, based purely on the text we had.
Oh,
Your
wow.
New Boyfriend Sucks on the AIZN Bangers playlist. The warning. The intense lyrical contrasts.
And how that aggression and absurdity could actually fuel the high-energy vibe of the music it's paired with, according to the description.
So here's a final thought for you listening, based on all this. Think about the specific way of writing a song, this level of directness, using language that's intentionally edgy, profane, confrontational. What does that do? What kind of impact does it have compared to maybe a more subtle approach?
Yeah, it definitely gets a reaction, doesn't it? It cuts through noise. It might alienate some people, for sure,
Yeah.
but it forces you to engage with the speaker's perspective, however skewed or intense it is.
It's prioritizing that raw, forceful expression above everything else, making you feel the intensity, whether you agree with the sentiment or not. It's kind of fascinating how language, even really harsh language, can be used to create such a specific, potent effect.
Absolutely, it's a powerful tool. And that wraps up our look at this specific source material.
Thanks for tuning in to AIZN Breakdowns.
And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you subscribe to AIZN's channel and definitely hit that bell icon. That way you won't miss any future episodes of AIZN Breakdowns or any new songs AIZN drops.